Brought to you by Arrowhead Mountain Springwater. I'm Allie Clifton, James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan, Mike Trudell in Boston handling the post-game responsibilities. Guys, number 2 in the East versus number 2 in the West. As we knew, Lakers without Jackson Hayes, no Rui Hachimura. Boston without Kristaps Porzingis. And the Lakers see their 8-game win streak come to a halt in Boston. We'll get to the game in a minute. But I think the biggest news here for a Laker Nation is obviously LeBron James, after playing 34 minutes tonight down the stretch there in the fourth, leaves the game holding his groin. Lakers are calling it a groin strain, did not return. I think his value goes without saying. Big game, obviously. He's been available for this team all season long. He's only missed 4 games, to which the Lakers are 3-1. But this is tough news and something we will certainly have our eye on moving forward.
Yeah, something that'll be under the microscope for sure. LeBron's been playing like a 22-year-old all season long, pretty much for the last couple of years. So, look, it's common for most players who play a lot of minutes like he's playing, whether you're 30 or 40 years old. That groin injury has been something that he's had, I believe.
Sure.
And so, it's a lot of wear and tear on the body, a lot of minutes, a lot of traveling, the schedules. And so, it's Father Time will catch up to you. The way he plays, the way he expands his body everywhere. And so I hope that it's something mild, but the groin is a sensitive area. So, I'm not a trainer nor a doctor, but I know their next game is a couple days?
Monday.
So hopefully he'll be able to recover. We'll get a diagnostic on it and see how it is. Hopefully it's not a severe groin strain, but groins they're difficult.
James, for LeBron to leave this game just past the midpoint of the fourth quarter, Lakers mounting a good comeback after being down over 20, it shows you this is not a nothing injury, obviously. So you have to wonder, you look at the schedule. You got Brooklyn in 2 days. That team has lost twice as many games as they've won. They don't really care about the rest of the regular season. Maybe LeBron sits that out almost regardless. And then actually after that, they have a couple days between games.
Yes.
It's their longest stretch of break this whole month, in a very compact month. They don't play again until Thursday in Milwaukee, and then Friday in Denver. I'm surprised if he plays in a couple days, because he can get a few days extra rest after that. But hopefully he is able to play next Thursday for sure. When they're starting, you and I were talking about this before the game, a stretch of 6 games in 8 days.
Wow.
I mean, that is treacherous right there. Hopefully he's okay in about 5 days.
Maybe getting back for the Denver game.
Sure.
Perhaps,
sure.
Brooklyn, like you said, Milwaukee, it depends on how it feels, but getting back for the Denver game, but definitely going to need it for that stretch.
Certainly keep an eye on Luka as well. As the broadcast showed, he was holding his back in warm-ups. Good to see him finishing the game, at least from a health standpoint. But when it comes to the game, I think the one thing that stands out is it wasn't about a lack of energy or effort for the Lakers tonight. In fact, it was a tie game after 1. It was a 4-point lead for Boston at the half. But then to open that third, it was tough. I keep hearing you say it, big game. The Lakers started that third quarter 0 for 9 from the field. In fact, their first field goal made wasn't until the 5.5-minute mark, to which at that point the Celtics had opened up a 19-point lead. They finished the quarter 29-13, advantage Boston. Lakers shot 5 of 23, 8 turnovers. You just saw that championship defense, defending championship defense, shine for Boston.
2 iconic franchises. The defending champions, as much as I hate to say it, they are a really good team, Brez. And defensively, I'm going to say, without Hayes in there to loosen up some of the, when they came to help, they didn't have those lobs as much. You'd be surprised at how much, missing him, was, but they just sticky defense, very physical defense. Lakers unable to really penetrate within the lane, really, for a long time, taking a lot of time off the shot clock. Now look, I think they only had 18 assists tonight.
It's too low.
That's way too low when you're used to having 25 to 30 per game. So it wasn't moving as much. So yeah, I mean, I give the defense a little credit. Brown's tough. Pritchard comes in there. He gets physical with everybody. Horton, I thought, exposed not having size today every time they switched on Reeves. So, but it was a nice effort comeback though in the fourth quarter, and LeBron went down. That we missed him, but we still had opportunities. But, hey, two good teams playing hard in Boston. I hate to go down to the Celtics, but we move on from here.
Yeah, Boston was pretty physical tonight. I feel like pretty much every Lakers starter got hit in the face or was grabbing their jaw or their cheek alley at some point or another. And sometimes the fouls were called, sometimes they weren't. And the Lakers have been pretty physical lately. They've been real physical in games. Tonight, Boston was probably the more physical team. Maybe the Lakers missed Rui Hachimura and his steady 13 or 14 a game. And I think they really missed the lob threat of a Jackson Hayes. You know, he's always available down there for if Luka or LeBron penetrates, you can pitch it over the top. Jackson Hayes is there. So I just feel like that in that third quarter, really, that's where they came undone.
Yep.
You know, the middle two quarters, actually, James, they scored 34 points total. And you just can't have that lapses on the road against a team like the Boston Celtics. They've been playing great. You know, our director got in her ear and said, when was the last time we had a losing post-game show?
Yeah,
it's been a while. And they've been crushing good teams, too. So, you know, the effort was there, but it's going to happen.
You don't lose to a losing team. If you look at this road trip, if you're going to say, okay, where might a loss come? You might say Boston would be that loss without. But you move on, try to get back in Brooklyn, and then go from there.
Yep.
I think that you guys would tell me I was lying after we talked about how Boston shoots the three ball at such a historic rate. Yeah. When I tell you that the Lakers hit one more three and attempted two more threes than Boston tonight. But it's little things like that where then offensive rebounds for Boston, 11 for 14 second chance points, turning the ball over for LA. They just were able to capitalize on all the mistakes. We did talk about the superstar duos coming into this one, and tonight you got to give the edge to Boston.
Yeah.
71 between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to just 56 of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. The tandem action that I saw tonight, big game. Offensively, Jason Tatum carried the load. Jaylen Brown defensively was able to really get into Luka Doncic and set the tone defensively from the jump.
Yeah. Brown did both. You know, he scored, and he definitely knows how to play a superstar player like Luka. I mean, the word is they played against them, you know, last year, so they know Luka pretty good, and the more physical you can, you know, get with him, he's going to hold on to the ball. Maybe that's something he needs to think about when you're playing against defensive players like Brown and Pritchard, Tatum. Move the ball a little bit more. But, yeah, they're sticky. If you're going to dribble, Brown is not the kind of guy you want to be around because he's got quick hands. We saw, maybe 2 or 3 steals or deflections against Luka there. So, yeah, you know, with a sore back and LeBron with a poor groin, no excuses. But those Boston Celtics, you know, duo, they got the job done.
Yeah, you know what's funny about Boston? I feel like they're a little under the radar because they've been about a half dozen games behind Cleveland in the East, really since maybe Christmas, New Year's. It feels like a lot of people talking about Cleveland, a lot of people talking about OKC, plenty of people talking about the Lakers these days since they acquired Luka. And you hear plenty about Boston, but people are kind of like, what's going on with them? Because they started off so well. They had the huge meltdown against Cleveland about a week ago when they were up 25-3 in the first quarter, lost. But you can't forget about this team. I mean, this Boston team is a champion for a reason. We saw tonight their 2 guys were great. And, James, I said on the pregame show, they've got 4 really good players.
Yeah.
I forgot about Derek White. And Peyton Pritchard's probably going to be 6th man of the year. So you could even go, this team's good 6 deep. And Al Horford, like you mentioned a minute ago, really nice job as a backup big part-time starter for them with Porzingis playing so few games this year.
Yeah, and they're saving Porzingis. They're resting him properly.